What's going on, everybody? So you may have heard, or maybe you haven't, but essentially the 2.6 live stream for Genshin Impact ended up giving us a lot of new cool information and things to be excited about. And so I know that for me personally, there's a lot of things I'm looking forward to. We got to know about the Chasm, we get to know about another Dainsleif quest, which is going to be canon to the story. Hopefully we're going to learn more about Conria, more about Celestia, something, I don't know, just give us something. Give us something to hold on to for the next 7 years of the game's lifespan. But also we're getting new artifacts as well, and these two sets look really interesting. They're obviously catered towards two specific characters, but today we're going to be looking at how flexible these artifact sets are. We're going to be talking about who they're going to be good on and what you can expect and whether or not it's going to be worth farming for these new sets. Anyways, with that being said, my name is Braxophone and let's talk about artifacts. So first off, I want to talk about Echoes of an Offering. This is going to be the new normal attack based set. The 2-piece is going to give you 18% attack bonus, and the 4-piece set is going to give you a normal attack damage bonus based on your attack. So I'll read the whole effect to you. When normal attacks hit opponents, there's a 36% chance that it'll trigger Valley Right, which will increase normal attack damage by 70% of attack. This effect will be dispelled 0.05 seconds after a normal attack deals damage. This is basically just saying that whenever you do an AoE hit of damage, it's going to hit both of them with the bonus. It's not just going to hit one. If a normal attack fails to trigger Valley Right, the odds of it triggering the next time will increase by 20%, and it can occur once every 0.2 seconds. So I know it's wordy like a Yu-Gi-Oh card. It's basically going to give you a normal attack damage bonus based on the attack of your character. I'm assuming it's going to work with Bennett. I'm assuming it's going to work with Sarah, Tenacity, Noblesse. Anything that buffs your attack, it will likely work with. Now we have two characters that do similar things right now. Yunjin gives you normal attack damage based off of her defense stat, and Shunhe does a similar thing but based on her attack stat. Now we know that both of these bonuses are really strong. I can't say for sure because I haven't tested it whether or not this bonus is going to be exactly the same as Yunjin or Shunhe's bonus, but my assumption is that they would be similar or functioning similarly. Regardless, you can tell that this set already looks very promising for characters like YOIMIYA, for example, because she performs a lot of normal attacks, basically no charged attacks at all. And as we've seen with Yunjin, Yunjin does work very well. So first off, let's just talk about who we think this set's made for. The most obvious character to me is AYATO. However, miHoYo has a tendency to make sets based on characters that don't actually align with that character at all. I don't know if this set looks like his thing aesthetically. It does look kind of pretty and perhaps a little noble, so that could be a thing. But as we've seen with artifact designs in the past, they don't always perfectly line up with new characters, and that's just because Hoyoverse likes to change things around as they're developing characters, which is, you know, it's part of the development cycle. But it's also possible that AYATO could deal a ton of normal attack damage, so we'll basically have to see. Effectively, for this to be good on AYATO, he's gonna have to pack a punch with his normal attacks or his cool elemental skill, so we'll see if that works, and if that is how it works, that's great. To me, this set, though it looks like it was made for AYATO because it came out around the time of AYATO, I don't necessarily think it's a set for him to use and abuse, but we'll see. And I'll have updates for you guys as we get closer to the patch. Obviously, you can't pre-farm this right now, so even if I am wrong, it's not going to affect you that much. But keep in mind, this is a leak-free channel. I'm not able to go in-depth based on things you may see on various leak websites, Twitter. Anything that hasn't been officially covered by miHoYo, I can't cover it. Doesn't mean I don't know about it, but I cannot tell you guys about it. But who else could it be good for? Well, there's a couple characters that I could see this set working on fairly well. A few off the top of my head are potentially YOIMIYA, Physical Official, Child, Eula, Razor, basically anyone that's going to be a normal attack carry. Now, I want to make it pretty clear that I don't think that this set is going to beat out a lot of sets on these characters. Like, I'm pretty sure Child and Physical Official and Eula and Razor, all of those characters already have insanely good set options for them, and I really don't think that this new Echoes of an Offering set is going to beat those out, specifically because there is RNG in this set. If you happen to get unlucky in a run of Spiral Abyss or something, you could miss out on some damage. Now, it is very hard to get actually horribly unlucky consistently because of how it increases the odds of triggering every time it doesn't trigger. But with that being said, at the end of the day, it is an RNG set. And then for your physical characters, specifically Eula, who actually has a physical damage burst, obviously this set's not going to be as good on her, specifically because you will be missing out on that extra burst damage. So while it looks really promising on a lot of characters, I don't see it being that much better than what you might already have, whether you have Shimenawa for Child, Heart of the Depths for Child, 2 Pale Flame, 2 Bloodstain, Eula, Razor, Official even. I don't imagine that this is going to change the game for those characters, but it's probably going to be okay on them. I definitely wouldn't recommend farming it for a character that has definitively better sets though. But for YOIMIYA, this is a little bit up in the air because YOIMIYA's entire kit is normal attack based. You do have an elemental burst that adds damage and you want to use that, but there's not a lot of sets that could be better than Echoes of the Offering because the most pyro damage bonus you're going to get is from the Crimson Witch set, which doesn't add up to the amount of damage that this set's going to be adding. But at the same time, you have Shimenawa, which people kind of insist on using on YOIMIYA. Again, I still think the set's not great for the average player. I think if you're a min-maxer or if you pay a lot of attention to rotations and you're really deeply involved in the theory crafting community, I think Shimenawa is great for you. But I think for casual players who aren't paying attention to their burst generation, their energy, all of those things, they're going to actually end up losing more damage, specifically because they're either not going to get the set effect sometimes if they use their burst on accident, or they don't really care about it, or they're not going to be using their burst, which actually makes them lose out on damage versus Crimson Witch. But this set actually beats out Crimson Witch. So I think for a casual player, actually this set will definitively be better than Shimenawa. Now, I did look at calcs on YOIMIYA mains. They do have some sheets out already. And if you look at the calcs, they're actually very close. An optimal Shimenawa player versus an optimal Echoes of an Offering player, both of these sets are going to be like really, really balanced. But the thing that makes Echoes of an Offering better, in my opinion, is the fact that you don't have to pay attention to your energy funneling as much, because you're not losing 15 energy every time you use your elemental skill. So it just seems easier to play by default. For casual players who may be interested in playing YOIMIYA and getting a better set, this looks potentially pretty good. Also, because this set doesn't require a perfect rotation or as much energy funneling, obviously you still probably want some energy recharge on YOIMIYA, but because it doesn't require energy funneling the way that Shimenawa does just to be able to activate the effect, it means you can free up your Bennett. It means that you can put Bennett on a different team and that YOIMIYA can run with Fischl, Beidou, Xingqiu just for like a really destructive team. Just as an example. Hey, so I definitely forgot to mention this in the video, but it's very important. The other thing about this set is that because it is random which hits are actually getting buffed, it makes Vaporize comps a lot less consistent, and for that reason, if you're using Xingqiu with YOIMIYA, this set will actually be marginally worse than Shimenawa or 4-piece Crimson Witch, 2 Crimson Witch, 2 Gladiator, etc. But there is one sort of big reason why I don't think I can recommend going for this set, and the main reason is that it's going to be such a pain in the butt to farm. With Shimenawa, you at least have an excuse to farm it. If you are forcing yourself to use Shimenawa, which I don't recommend, it just feels really bad. Like the numbers look big, but it feels bad to play because sometimes you'll miss out on the big numbers if you don't pay attention, or if you're using your burst often, it just becomes a pain to funnel. With Shimenawa, it's a lot easier to farm because even if you don't get a Shimenawa piece, you're getting an Emblem of Severed Fate piece. An Emblem is one of those sets that actually fits on like most characters that are burst reliant, like just as a shoe-in set if you don't have anything else, because it gives you energy recharge and it gives you damage based on your energy recharge. It's a really solid set, and while you're farming for Emblem, you can also get Shimenawa pieces. So that's why people say it's resin efficient, because both the sets in theory can be very good. But the problem with this is that these two sets are very tailored to specific characters. And so we're going to talk about the second set now, and I can tell you guys why that one is good and or bad. So right off the bat, I like the aesthetics of this one more, but it looks to me like a XIAO set, and you guys will see in a second. So 2-piece set, 18% attack bonus. They really love their 18% attack bonus for some reason. We're just seeing all these 18% attack bonus sets, and I guess that's good because that just means all your trash 2 pieces are just going to go on other characters. And by trash 2 pieces, I just mean 2 pieces you get on accident, not like actually bad. Don't put bad pieces on your other characters. But the 4-piece set says after using an elemental burst, this character will gain Nascent Light, which increases their attack by 8% for 16 seconds. When the character's HP decreases, their attack will further increase by 10%. The further increase can occur this way a maximum of 4 times. So once you get the max stacks, you're going to be able to get a 48% attack bonus on top of your 2-piece set effect, which is already 18%. The effect can be triggered once every 0.8 seconds, and it will go away when the character leaves the field. And if the burst is used again during the duration of Nascent Light, the original Nascent Light will be dispelled. So basically, if you use their burst while the effect is active, it will get rid of the effect. So to me, this is very clearly a XIAO piece, right? Like this is a piece that is definitely made for him. The reason being, you activate your burst and then he slowly loses health over time. There's no other character in the game that does that. You can use elemental skill on Hu Tao and she'll lose some health, but it's not constantly draining over time. And you would also need to use our burst first, which isn't actually that great because you lose out on damage if you're not under skill. So it just ends up being this whole thing. Very clearly, this set is a XIAO set. And now off the top of my head, I can't think of anyone else that this set would be used for. Don't get me wrong, if you get hit by burning, corrosion, or if you just get slapped by an enemy after using your burst, you're gonna get an attack buff that's gonna feel pretty good, but it's not really worth expecting that sort of damage in order to get bonus attack on a new artifact set. And on top of that, it's a 4-piece set. So actually some XIAO players were doing some calculations, and essentially the way this set works out is it's not actually that much better than running 2-piece Viridescent, 2-piece Gladiator, or just running 2 of the 18% attack bonus those sets. Now, the reason for this isn't because the attack bonus is small. The attack bonus actually isn't small at all. The issue is that XIAO already has insanely high multipliers, and for him to get higher damage bonus, he essentially needs either defense shred or resistance shred. There's not really any other way to go about it for XIAO. You could jack up his multipliers if you wanted to, but at its core, the issue is that there's not an Animo Shredder that is free to play accessible. You do have Animo Traveler, but that only works when the tornado is active. You have Venti Constellations, which not a lot of people have, and you have Gene C4, which, I mean, like, it's Constellation 4, that's like enough said, right? So it becomes an issue of like XIAO's kind of hit a damage ceiling that he's not gonna get past unless there's some kind of power creep to Animo characters as a whole. And I know that miHoYo is afraid to do that. That's why we haven't seen any like XIAO buffs or XIAO oriented supports yet, but I think we're getting closer considering they just made him a dedicated set. With that being said, if you already have a good set for XIAO, there's not really a point in farming this one. The damage outputs are pretty close. Obviously, this one can actually get a little bit higher. The damage ceiling is higher on this set compared to other set options for him, but it's another 4-piece set. Like, if you're not a XIAO main, it's not really worth going in and spending 3 months in this domain to get a good set that matches the substats of the set you already have. Because let's be honest, unless you're just the luckiest person on the planet, which is only code, you are simply never going to get a 4-piece set of this because of resin limits and because of RNG. It takes so long to get a good set, and the fact that these two domains are specifically for such niche character usage makes me feel like these domains aren't actually going to be worth farming in the long run. Now, that being said, obviously you can kind of do what you want. If you like XIAO a lot and you want to raise his damage ceiling by a little bit, this is the set to do it. You're going to need to farm up 4 pieces, and they're going to have as good of substats as your other pieces for you to be able to see some change. Whereas with the YOIMIYA set, it's kind of a similar deal. If you already have a really good YOIMIYA set, you don't necessarily need to go for this one. And on top of that, I kind of feel like the retracing Bolide set is a little bit more comfy just because you need to play her with a shield anyways. And I know it does less theoretical damage than like a bunch of other sets, but it's not by that much. And like I said, it's just so nice to have a shield around her all the time. The normal attack set seems really cool. I just don't think it's going to be game changing. Same with the XIAO set. I don't really think it's going to be that game changing either. I've been doing this with my hands the whole time. Anyways, you guys, that's basically my first look at these artifact sets and what I think about them. So let me know if you guys are going to be farming for them. And if you're, I guess, a XIAO main or a YOIMIYA main, that'd be pretty cool to know too. As usual, if you've enjoyed the content, make sure to subscribe to the channel. I'm going to be covering over a couple days the 2.6 patch update that we got to know and see and what we can expect from 2.6. I'm just going to do it in a couple videos spread out. So anyways, guys, I hope you enjoyed. I'll catch you later.